Grand Rising. It's very early, you guys. I just woke up. Well, not just, but I'm still on my first cup of coffee. Um, interesting stuff. I woke up and a lot of my processing goes on during my sleep. Um, and we all have the, yeah, everybody has dreams and whatever, and you process your day and your life experiences through your dream state. And but I'd like to take that a little bit farther. I think some of us might resonate with where we're in our dream state, where it's more than just a dream. We're actually doing things in our sleep that might be considered ethereal, or where we're not in our body anymore and we're doing things, or we're experiencing things that are not a dream, where one might say we're working during our sleep. I don't know, whatever, man, whatever. But the thing that is really coming through in my sleep last night has to do with society and the way things are unfolding at this current time, and over the last couple of years, and the level. I don't even want to give energy to certain words, but I don't. It's not my first choice to even give energy to this subject matter, because it kind of falls in line with how things are going. But it goes back to love, plain and simple. It goes back to loving myself and loving my neighbor. And my neighbor isn't just my physical proximity neighbor. It's my neighbor at the grocery store, my neighbor at the gas station, my neighbor that I meet on a stroll on the beach, my neighbor at work. We're all residents of Mother. We're all residents. So everybody I encounter is my neighbor. We all live on the same planet. We're all neighbors. Some of us have a gray house, some of us have a white house, some of us have a yellow house. Some of us have black cars, white cars, yellow cars. We all make choices about our lives, and that's also loving people no matter what their choice is. Loving people no matter what their choice is. And I've found, I've experienced, sadly, um, sadly, a fair amount of division, even among family members and close friends, about the decisions that we as individuals are making for our lives. And that's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. From both sides of the fence, you guys. From both sides. It's heartbreaking. I could share with you some of my own personal experiences, but I'm sure we can all relate, how there's been a breakdown in close personal relationships based solely on a choice that we've been forced to make over the last couple of years, and more specifically, very recently. And I came into some awareness recently too about, in certain countries, I believe, heavy in Germany and Australia right now, and there's other places too where, uh, based on your choice for what you have or haven't done, um, you may be limited or refused service at a gas station, or you may be refused service at a grocer. Um, and I think that this, in my opinion, that these practices are nefarious and despicable. um, and I would like to offer myself in any way possible that there, if someone finds themselves, because of the choice that they have made, that they find themselves um, sick and they need somebody to bring them groceries or whatever, they need an errand run because they're sick and they can't go out in public for fear of repercussions. Here I am. Give me a call. I'll help you. I'll do whatever I can for you. And in turn, based on my decisions and my choices for my life, I may find myself refused service at a grocery store because of my choice. And it would seem at least that they are attempting to enforce this, denying people the right to eat or to move or to travel, etc. Sometimes we have to just say no. I've had enough, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna follow the narrative. But it's been my experience in more recent days that there are a lot of people, firsthand experience, um, people that I'm experiencing getting sick, really, really sick, who have had both, getting really sick, and they need help. They need help. And I consider myself, outside of that, fairly healthy. Um, and help one another out. Do unto each other. Treat everybody like a neighbor. I'm tired of the division. I'm tired. And when I say tired, that sounds like I'm weary of it. I'm weary of it. Um, you know, help where we can, and unify as opposed to allow ourselves to be divided. This one's the enemy, that one's the enemy, their skin color, their religious choice, their choice of medical status, whatever it may be. I'm tired and weary of it. My neighbor is my neighbor, no matter where I encounter them, whether they're 30 feet from me or whether they're 3,500 miles away from me. That person is my neighbor and my brother and my sister too. No matter what choice they've made, they're trying to lump us all into the same grouping and then divide us. It's sickening. So what do I do with that energy? I do my very best to keep my eyes open, and when there's a need or a call for help, that I can hear that I can answer the need and respond to the call. And as I would do for someone else, whatever was it within my means to do, I would like to think that if I asked for help, if somebody says, Scott, you can't go into a grocery store anymore because of your medical status, I'd like to think that there was people out there, no matter what side of the fence they were on, that somebody would step up and say, you know what, I'll go in and do your groceries for you. Cool, man. Cool. And in turn, if you get sick, I'll take care of you. I don't know, whatever. It's a nice little four-letter word, LOVE. Love each other. Love yourselves. Love yourselves. And we love ourselves by honoring the divine that's within each other, We look out for each other. I've got your back, you've got mine. And no matter what choice we've made, you're not my enemy. You're not my enemy, and I'm not yours. I'm not your enemy. You know. Um, but hey, so check this out. So let's help one another out. I'm weary of the division, um, and I'm weary of it. But along with, I'm approaching um, a date in my life that has significance for me, but more so recently. And I was just chatting with a friend prior to pushing the button to do this. And, again, going back to my sleep, and even in my waking hours, I'm being flooded with binary code, ones and zeros. And there's a date coming up. So when you think of a 1 and a 0, we think 10, right? 1, 0, 10. Which is really interesting because everything in my life right now, and I'll give you a few examples. My social security number, the numeric value of my full name, the numeric value of my birth date, what else? I'm like, wow, dude. The age that I'm going to be very soon, all add up to 10. 1, 0. Or some variation, 5s and 10. For instance, I'm going to be 55 years old on the 19th, 10, 55. 1 and 19, 1 and 9 is 10. It just insanely synchronistic, and I'm having these dreams of binary. And I mentioned it to somebody else in a recent conversation. Hey, Mary, I recently had a conversation that, in expressing this to this person, Mary, that I felt like Neo in the fucking Matrix, where I'm seeing these numbers, not the same way in the Matrix, but I'm constantly seeing 1s and 0s like flash before me, in my mind, and not so much in the physical. But if anybody has any experience with binary and or coding, my stepson Zach went to college for coding, and I was going to ask him about like what is the significance. But if anybody has any idea about like the significance of 10, I've looked it up in gematria and coding, angelic coding, gematria, Hebrew. It all means the same thing, kind of. It basically all means the same thing, which I also found very interesting. Because prior to this, the number sequences that were frequently repeating in my life were 3, 9, 333, or some variation thereof. For instance, my house is 45, 9. Frequent repetition where I've felt that sequence is diminishing, and this new sequence of 1, 0 or binary or 55 or 555 or I'm sorry, not 555, but 55, 10, 5, all these 5s are coming up, but from a sense of binary, 1s and 0s. And if anybody has any experience understanding how to read code or read binary, I would welcome any information that you might have, and helping me to understand, perhaps on a deeper level, what the possible definition, um, uh, in Hebrew gematria, and they referred to it as angelic coding or divine coding. Um, it's nothing more than, and pretty much across the board. I mean, it was, different language, but it all basically meant the same thing, which I deeply resonated with because I felt this sense of completion or ending. And I don't, and initially it caused some anxiety within me, about ending, ending, what's ending. But as we all know, sometimes an end is not an end, it's just a completion point or a graduation point onto a different level. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm talking shit. So, with that, if anybody has any information or a different understanding of, or a deeper understanding of binary code, or the numerology stuff, I would certainly welcome. Um, you know, I don't know, man. It's been the last couple of days, man. I mentioned to my friend this morning, I literally feel like a computer. Like, what are all these numbers flashing in my mind, and it's all in a series of binary code, ones and zeros. And like maybe I, in a past life I could understand this, but in this lifetime I am deeply math challenged. I can talk to you about, other things all day long, but when it comes to math, I'm a bit slow. I can balance my checkbook, but that's about it. Anyway, let's all look out for each other, man. Don't, this is our world. This is ours. This is where we are, and let's treat each other. Let's treat ourselves. Um, the division that we've all experienced on some level, whether it was via our education or religion or financial status, or I am you and you're me. We're all the same. We're all uniquely different, but we're all the same. We all have to live here together, and if you need help, ask. I'm right here. I feel like I'm fairly intuitive a lot of the times, and I can see a need before it even becomes aware, and I can fulfill a need. But there's other times where, I don't know what I don't know. And but I'm here and I'm willing, and I'm happy to do what's within my means to do. Um, it's just be excellent to each other. Let's be excellent to each other. I'm wary of it, you guys, and I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you are too. We've been divided for far too. We've been divided for far too long, and it'd be nice to be unified on a level of harmony, true harmony. I'm not talking about what the powers that be consider harmony. I'm talking about genuine, heartfelt compassion, love, empathy, reciprocity, where I've got your back and you got mine. Let's help one another out as best as we can, and enjoy love and peace that surpasses our own understanding. Have a wonderful day, you guys. I'm out.